Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Masters of Positivity Official. This afternoon, we are going to have a one-on-one session with Shrey Sharma, and we are going to ask him 10 questions. He has no clue what those 10 questions are, and he will be answering those questions which have been asked on the Master of Positivity Official Instagram page. So let's begin. Yes, so the first question is that it is said that we need to set boundaries with the right ones. Is it true?
See, there is something about humans which does not like boundaries, alright? And it's the question I perceive it as when you're saying it's something relating to relationships. So this usually happens. A person usually opens a window for a few people where he can completely dissolve himself or herself, where that person does not have to think, where that person can be that person and not a personality. Alright, but this window unfortunately is open for only few people in their lives. So the best thing is that not to open another window, but to remove the wall at all, right? When there is no wall, when you set no boundaries with anyone, right? And that means that everyone is free in your life and you can freely interact with other people, right? But the concepts of relationships or the concepts of legal marriage, this and that, these might go opposing to that. So if you're young and if you understand what I'm trying to say, I hope you'll use all your relationships to enhance yourself, but not to entangle yourself anyway. So boundaries is an entangling affair. So what you need is an enhancement. So if that enhancement can come without boundaries, that is the best way to go.
So the second question is that whether expressing your emotions is a good or a bad thing. What are your views?
The expression is the opposite of depression. What do you feel now? Is it a good thing or a bad thing? I think expressing yourself needs a little maturity in this world, because a lot of the time people have a clue of what the other people is thinking, thoughts and emotions of other person, but he's not that refined right now. So soft skills definitely plays a role, but expression any day over depression.
So the third question is that there are a lot of times in life where we want something to happen and whatever happens is the complete opposite. So these are the times where a person feels most anxious. So what can one do to overcome that anxiousness?
See, Napoleon Hill said something that stuck to me since years. From the first time I read the statement, it says every adversity carries with it a seed of equivalent or greater benefit. So that basically means that there is no such adversity which does not carry something that it can be turned to advantage, to your advantage. But you need to have a positive mental attitude where these seeds can germinate into something and blossom into something of equivalent or greater benefit. Isn't that true? If you have an attitude that the day is a very bad day, then even though opportunity will present itself to you, you will brood over what's going wrong with it. Best way is to go about saying that's good to every situation, so you can finally focus on the good in that situation that you can turn into your advantage. That element which can be turned to your advantage is present in every situation. It's about your attitude, not about the situation.
So the fourth question is how should one remain positive despite failures?
Hmm. See, for a committed man, there is no such thing as failure. And if you don't believe me, take the example of Thomas Edison. Alright, the light bulb. He did not fail 1,000 times. He found 1,000 steps which do not work, which is also a success. Right? So when somebody is persistent, it's an insurance towards failure, because that person will not stop until that person wins. So I think failure and success, if treated in terms of persistence, the line between them gets finished. There's only one line, which is finishing.
So the fifth question is how does one get to know that they have found the right person, or does that concept even exist? What are your thoughts?
See, you're at the right place at the right time everywhere. There's no such thing as one right person. There are 7 billion people teeming in this universe, alright? And you want one right person. I'm saying, why do you have such a lack and limited attitude? Why don't you have an abundant attitude, alright? Why can't every person that you come in close contact with becomes the right person for you? Right? So if you have an idea of having one right person, that means that you've excluded yourself consciously from every other person there is. Right? If you were conscious enough, you'd want every person you'd come in contact to be the right person. And the best way to do so is yourself first. You become like that you yourself are in a position that you are not an issue. In fact, whoever comes near you, that person's issues get solved because of you. Every person will be the right person for you.
The next question I have no idea about completely. So I think I'll be one of those persons who would like to have an answer on this question. What are your views on YOLO?
See, Sean Connery just passed away, Sir Sean Connery, yesterday. He had a movie called You Only Live Twice. So either the internet slang of you only live once, or either Sean Connery, one of them is lying. Now my job is to find the liar, right? So you only live once. See, the thing is, this question comes from a consciousness of a person that you die in this lifetime. So do whatever you can. See, the roots of this question are fear of death. We fear death because we see the body disappearing. What we don't see is that same life is appearing in some other form, but we do not see that. That is metaphysical. But once we realize this as a complete life that is taking birth after a transition, then we'll start thinking death of a transition rather than the end. So you only live once. Well, you'll have to die to know that.
Okay, so the next question is that sometimes people say that they are not happy, but rather they are satisfied. So the question is that do you need to be happy to be satisfied? Are they the same thing, or they are completely separate concepts altogether?
They're emotions, right? The vibrations of these emotions must be different. But there's a saying which always holds true. It says true joy is in giving, right? And satisfaction could be sitting at home simply and being satisfied. I believe that after giving, the satisfaction comes. So it's not two different concepts, it's just the order is different, right? Once you're happy, you will be satisfied the way that you are.
But many a times we do give our love to other people, but they do not reciprocate. So how does loving make us happy
And that
or
is not
satisfied?
giving. See, true joy isn't giving means you're concerned about your giving, that I should be capable of giving through the best that I can, right? If you're not happy with the result, that means you were not doing it for the giving part, but it was a transaction. In a transaction, always plus minus happens. It's only in unconditional giving that there are no minuses.
So the next question is that how can one get rid of, or how can one forget a bad experience?
See, you come to me, okay? If you are ready right now, let's start with it. Right? A lot of new age people call this NLP, but the actual thing is that every memory is saved in the form .vak, that is visual, visual, audio, and kinesthetic. Kinesthetic is the movement part. Just like a video file is saved in .mp4 form, memory is saved in your folder as .vak form, video, audio, kinesthetic. So first of all, you take that memory, be very clear which memory it is, alright? Make sure that the video is made black and white, right? All the contrast is zero.
What do you mean when you say video?
Because we think in images, right?
So you're asking them to
don't
make a
think in text.
video of their experience itself.
Yes,
Okay.
right? The video, whichever makes you feel bad, make it black or white. The next step, this is what you have to do once you're relaxed, alright? Listen to these suggestions once you're in a relaxed frame and when you're alone. So do this. First of all, make the video black and white. Second, cut the audio part, make it mute it. The third is pause that video. The kinesthetic has to be stopped. Right? Now what you have is a black and white silent picture, isn't that? Now put it on a flipboard, right? Black and white silent picture. Put it on a flipboard in front of you. Take a paint and a black paint bucket and take a thick paint brush, and paint that picture full black, thick black. After that, what you do is you let it rain heavily on that picture, so that picture rots and goes down the drain, right? And what is now in place of that drain is a beautiful flower pot which you have put and you have watered, and now they're beautiful flowers. I see right now bougainvillea in front of me. I see petunia, I see periwinkle. Make them all grow, make roses grow, and make it a field full of beautiful flowers. From that pot, slowly the whole field is now beautiful. If you do this properly in a silent place, this is called visualization. Next time you think about that picture, what you will think is those flowers.
For everything else, Shresh Sharma is available. So the next question is an interesting one that I am also quite interested in. That is lol. What are chakras and how do they affect us?
See, you have seen a transformer in an electrical circuit. The electricity that comes to your house, it comes through a transformer. Mother, you have done BTech. If you can tell me, you've done non-medical. If you can tell me what a transformer is for.
It transforms energy from one to another.
So the basic aim of the transformer is to make sure that the voltage is little amped down so that it is usable.
Yes.
Right. So the chakras are there. There are 7 chakras in a body. Their function is that all the cosmic energy that is available to us is amped down so that we're not blasted right away by it. Right. So that is the aim of the chakra. And these chakras, there are nadis in our bodies, 70 to 100 nadis. They meet at 14 junction points. 1400 junction points. 7 of them are very important, and those are the 7s which we call chakra. They are like wheels. They go swirling. Can you do the camera over here? They go like this, right? That's why they're called chakra. So again, going back to the example.
Sorry, I got a phone call.
It's okay. See, the electricity example is this. Electricity is form of energy. When it is used in an air conditioner, it will give you cooling. Right? When it's used in a mixer, it will give you grinding. When it is used in a car, it will give you electric car. It will give you motion. Right? So electricity is the same. It's where it is used that gives you different result. Isn't that true?
Yeah.
So similarly, there are chakras like that, 7 major chakras. If it is used in the Mooladhara or the sacral or root chakra, or then it will give you the energies when it is over there, concentrated over there, it will give you food and sleep. More of those things will happen in your life. It goes up, Swadhisthana, that is the water chakra. Then it will give you, you'll be more attached to pleasures in life. It goes above solar plexus, that is the fire chakra. Willpower will be the most important thing in your life, action. If it goes up, heart chakra, then obviously love and these things will going to be more in your preferential over life. These energies will matter more when they go up. That is the throat chakra. Here is where it is the space chakra. Here honesty and clarity, these things. It goes to the third eye chakra. Again, you should know what is illusion, what is reality. These things will be matter more, clarity again. And if it goes to the top to the crown chakra, then attachment, detachment, all these things will come into your life. Renunciation, what you need to do. You are fully involved over here, but it's just that you're not attached to something over here. So when energy is concentrated in a specific chakra, that is the emotion that is going to play more in your life. There can be a balance between all of them. For that, there is a lot of ways to reach. There is Kundalini Yoga also. So different people need different things to address these things.
Okay, continuing from your previous question, one of your previous questions, how can you keep giving to someone without expecting anything in return? Because you definitely want to be with them, in the times when they are in your need. So basically, you say that it should not be a transaction, but this person who's asked this question clearly wants it to be a transaction. So how can one make it not? How can one not make it a transaction? Because they want to live with that person either way. So
See, first of all, only when you are capable of giving and giving without need for any receiving is when you are fully comfortable with the way you are, when you are fully in harmony with your nature. Once you're in that way, whoever comes to your contact, all right, that person can prosper from you without you having to, purge energy out of you. So it just becomes a consequence of that. But if you don't know that, any conversation or any relation soon turns out into a power struggle. Alright? So there is some energy existing between, let's say, you and I, mother. Alright? So if we haven't ever worked on improving ourselves, this conversation can soon become into a power struggle. Right? And whoever makes sure that their point of view is one in that dominant in that power struggle is going to take the other person's energy. He's going to feel good but at the expense of other person's energy, and next time that person is going to be aloof from that person. So power struggles happen when these things are not clear. What I'm trying to say is you do not need to compete for energy with another person. There's energy all around you. Everything is energy. Energy is simply vibration, right? So you can increase your vibration by simple high tools of high vibration like O, and M. That's Om. Other than that, you giving, appreciating. The intimidator can become appreciator, right? Energy multiplies when you start appreciating. Energy multiplies when you become more alive. Energy multiplies when you become an includer rather than interrogator. Energy multiplies when you become a victor rather than a victim. So this is what happens. People start playing intimidators, they start playing victims, they start playing aloof, and they start playing interrogators. Right? Once they are short of energy, these all things happen. But when they have tools of high energy like appreciating, listening, and Om, then these same people become appreciators, alive, victors, and what was the last one? Includers.
follow-up question on that. But a lot of relationships do need a transaction, right? For example, the relationships that have become that they are in the modern times. Every guy wants a girl, every girl wants a guy. There is a mismatch of expectations, and definitely the transaction goes horribly wrong. So how can someone use this transactional method in the right way to attract the mate that they want, the kind of things that they want, the kind of intimacy that they want, and so forth?
Love is a very good way to dissolve yourself into something, the object of love, right? If you love a girl, you dissolve yourself in that object of love. That means all these tendencies to control have been gone, right? There's no control. It's simple active living. But what happens is commitment phobic relationships, that's where they keep turning, because for them love means this window is open only for one person. We are able to dissolve our egos and dissolve our personalities and false self-images only for one person, right? And I'm saying there is no window, there's no wall. You can live in a way that you can completely dissolve all of that ego and live in this world. That time you wouldn't feel that you need only one person. You'd be like, even if there is nobody, I'm ecstatic. If somebody comes, I can share my ecstasy with that person. Right? This need of commitment and how did you talk to her or how did you talk to him? This is what kills. This control comes there. Alright? They want a window to be open. They don't want the window to be shut. They don't realize there is no wall. Love could be not. Love is what you become. Right? It's a quality that you have. Anyone that comes in your vicinity feels that quality. It's not that only for one person you have that sweetness of emotion. If that is so, then it is a very constipated idea.
True, but how? But then some people do like file what they call that I found the one. So in that case, they would want to attract that person. Like we've already covered this question previously, but sometimes there has been there has been situations where people have found the one, and they have successfully been the one with that person, as in that they found the person they got attracted to, and they were like, I'm going to marry this person, and they were able to marry them successfully. So do you suggest that one can recommend this kind of a dynamic in a relationship? Is it even possible?
So if you have to be in a relationship, at least make sure that you are not controlling that person.
Or you're not getting controlled as well?
Yeah, exactly. When that is such a relationship, only then the things that you're saying are possible. But again, right now I'm saying, if you are only loving, if you're incapable of loving somebody else rather than that one person, I'm saying you need to check yourself.
And if people are incapable of attracting people, as in the person has great qualities, but somehow people only see him as a friend or whatever, what can that person do? Because clearly that person has, many people have those capabilities that can make them a very attractive mate, but many a times, especially with guys, they do not receive that attention at all.
See, that person needs to realize the abundance that is there in nature, right? Everything that nature does is in abundance. Now, can you please pan over the camera over there?
Yeah.
See, can you see the abundance of leaves on the trees?
Yes.
Is there a limit? Did somebody count?
No,
Right?
it is
Why
not
do you
countable.
count that person is the one that I need to have such relationship with? Right? I'm saying your relationship does not need any typecast. Right? Only then can you are able to dissolve yourself. Once you're dissolved, okay, nobody is able to typecast you. Right? But once you're started with that mindset, when your mind is set, that is where you cannot flexibly enjoy the nature. Right? Everything, the leaves are flexible. If wind comes, they'll bend. Otherwise, if they're very rigid, they'll fall off.
No, the question means that a person, it's like a peacock shows its feathers to show how good of a mate he is, right? Many a times people are not able to show their attractiveness scale, or they're not able to come off as a person that a person can get attracted to. Not a specific person, but as a point being, many people have a tendency of becoming brothers, or get friend zoned all the time. Whereas there are people who are always seen as the person the opposite gender gets attracted to, rather than friend zone.
See,
How can one be able to show their capabilities in that regard? That's what I tried to ask.
whatever you resist will persist. I am saying, if you're there, it is in your mind that I am going to get typecast into a brother or something, right? You're resisting a lot of things. If you want to dissolve yourself, love is about dissolving yourself, right? There is no personality, there is no false self-image, right? You fall in love, alright? You have to fall. These things have to fall away. Once you realize that if somebody goes away, does not say even hi to you, and it says hi, he or she says hi to 10 people, your ego will resist that, alright? You're going to be in a state of resistance. How did this happen? But in love, there's no such thing. Things have to fall, you have to dissolve in it. Once you are in a situation, you won't find yourself typecast into any role, alright? And that is where you're open to the abundance, not one person. Right now you're resisting 10 people for one person, and in that person also you're resisting 10 types of relationship. I'm saying this resistance is what holding you back.
So you're saying that you should become a brother or a friend if that situation comes?
If that situation comes, whatever comes your way, alright, only if you're in a situation to move forward, do more things come, right? If you take that too hard, you're going to find yourself in a boat, not with me, but with a bottle of alcohol. And probably the lake authorities will find this boat not with you, but this lake with you. Inside the lake you'll be there.
So it's like what Gautam Buddha said, that expectations create a lot of sadness.
I'm saying expectations from certain people. From people, you expect certain things. you should expect from yourself.
So one can work on their positive true self-image to make sure that their true capabilities or the true talent comes out.
Exactly, and you know how this can be done?
Hmm.
When there are a lot of things, when you have identified yourself with so many things, right? These identifications have to fall off. Let's say I have a badge on my chest. I have to make sure that this is detected.
Size limit reached. Continue.
Let's say right now you identified yourself as a Chandigarhi. You identified yourself as a ladies man. You have identified yourself as a ladies man. A person that comes who does not like what you call such so-called playboys. Alright? There's a resistance with you. I'm saying don't have any identifications. Alright? Make sure that you disidentify yourself with things. Only then will your mind will be open to whatever is there. If you have identified yourself as certain economic social class, there are so many things you are missing out on. I'm not saying call yourself a poor person or rich person. I'm just saying call yourself a person.
So if one has a resistance towards certain things, he has to get rid of that resistance, then form a new image in that regard.
I'm just saying people have identified with themselves with so many things, or which they are not. Right? You'll know what you are. You'll have your true self-image. You'll have your fully dissolve into this world. You'll be fully drenched in living this life only when you have disidentified with all those things which you are not. Only then will you know who am I. Right? I say something nasty to you. Alright, your pride, which you have identified with you, although you don't get hurt, but that pride will get hurt, won't it? I can run my mouth whatever the way I want, but if I can decide how you will feel because of that, then isn't that slavery?
Then that's you taking control over me.
Exactly, you have to
Manipulation.
You are the master of your experience. When you're in charge, automatically you will make sure that everything is pleasant. But right now you're not in charge. Right now, other people are in charge of making how you will feel.
So you're suggesting them to grab their life by their horns.
I'm suggesting nothing to them. I'm suggesting to you. Disidentify yourself with all the things that you're not. Only then can you dissolve into this world. Can you stop being typecast as somebody's boyfriend, as somebody's ex, as somebody's reject, as somebody's accept? Love will be not coming to you, but you will become love yourself. Wherever you go, it goes with you.
Cut. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you for asking so many questions. We would be hoping that you ask more questions on Master of Positivity official Instagram handle. We shall be putting more posts, and we shall also be putting more things that will make you feel more positive and good about yourselves. Keep the message of positivity with yourself. I, Madhur Kumriya, shall take care and take your leave. Thank you.
Thank you for your questions, but the time is running out because the time is now and the time is for a water fight.
Kosadi ke? हाँ, तो रोमन रेंज और जॉन सीना के बीच में तो किसको चुनेगा? क्यों? नहीं, रोमन रेंज को सुपरमैन पास देखा है?
ऐसे होता है?
Exactly.
तुम जॉन सीना के फैन हो? नहीं तो फिर तुम्हें जॉन सीना के मूव्स का पता है? हाँ। एक करके दिखाओ।
Yes.
उसके बाद क्या करता है? बस नॉर्मल सी वो अच्छा
कैसे फैन हो यार तुम WWE वाले?
WWE में रोमन रेंज का फैन हूँ।
अबे यार तुम ना बच्चे हो, तुमने देखा नहीं असली क्या होता है। ये जो PG एरा आ चुका है ना, जहाँ पे सब कुछ वो
फिक्स होता है।
फिक्स तो पहले भी था। PG एरा में खून बंद हो गया, न्यूडिटी बंद होगी सारी, लैंग्वेज पूरी हो गई। अब इसमें जितना बंदा कर सकता है ये तुमने देखा है। जो तुमने खुला माहौल जिसमें असली होती है ना, वो देखना मिस हो गया। 2007 के बाद बंद हो गया।
जैसे कि असली तो मुझे थोड़ी बहुत वो लगती है WWF जो होती है, उसमें रियल फाइट दिखाते हैं, बट मैच तो भी फिक्स होते हैं।
मैच तो वो फिक्स होते हैं, लेकिन उसमें एग्रेशन असली होता है।
हाँ ये होता है।